This is the reason why people need to understand what corruption does
Yes.
and what bad management does.
Yes.
Because Simon, I'm not saying you can't make mistakes.
Yes.
Because we are all human beings, and making mistakes is what makes us human.
Good. But
But when you make a mistake and you go on like say the decision was right, that is where I have a problem.
mm-hmm.
Now in 2016, Dr. Tufton got two opinions. One that says lick down Cornwall Regional and build a new hospital, and one that says refurbish. Dr. Tufton, as the minister, decides to go with the refurbish aspect of the thing, saying that it was going to cost us $2 billion or 2.1, 2.6, under $3 billion. I am 100% correct. Now we are at about $25 billion. And every time Dr. Tufton spoke, it's like it's the best decision this since sliced bread. And it is not, Simon.
mm-hmm.
$10 billion could have built us a brand new hospital. I would have it already. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
We don't see the accident now. We don't have the necessary machines. So had we spent on our regional, would have still have $15 billion we could have put in all the machines we need in all the hospitals. 15 billion could have done that, Simon. Could have deal with all that. So you blunder. And instead of come and say a blunder, because it's a $25 billion blunder, you know. All right, take out the tree. It's a $22 billion blunder. Massive. And then we are going like it is okay. The next thing, Simon, $4 billion was allocated to do a census. And today, we are still waiting on the result of the census. $4 billion. Somebody needs to talk to us. The Minister of Finance, because starting is under her ministry, right?
Blessed is the man that walketh not.
Was among those speaking.
Hold on. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor sitteth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of sinners, nor standeth in the ways of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by rivers of water, that bringeth forth their fruit in its season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome to the Colin Bell Show for yet another Wednesday. Welcome to Caribbean Radio HD. So yesterday, we were talking about the issue with our hospitals. We were also talking about the economy. And we are going to be touching on the economy today. We are going to be joined later on by Ralston Hyman. And after that, we're going to be joined by Conrad O'Brien. So, stay tuned right here on Caribbean Radio HD.
Was among those speaking at a press conference that the PNP called to express concern about a number of issues, including what's been happening at the Kingston Public Hospital, KPH. He joins us now. Dr. Dawes, afternoon. Thank you so much. Appreciate you talking to us.
Hey, good afternoon, and good afternoon to all the listeners.
Boy, the irony of the situation must strike you the way. I mean, you came in some measure to significant national attention, having been the head of the then Junior Doctors, I don't remember if they called it that, then Junior Doctors Association, Jamaica Medical Doctors Association, calling attention to mold crisis in operating theatres and impact on patient care under the then PNP administration. And here you are. Don't know what it says about us as a country that we seem to be trying to solve the same problems over and over.
We're a pothole patching country. It's 10 years ago, almost to the day, that we had to keep a press conference and highlight a lot of the deficiencies that were facing the doctors and patients, the staff in general. And here we are again. And a lot of the issues raised then 10 years ago are still relevant today.
You don't get frustrated at that?
It is frustrating, and I think that's part of the motivation why I decided to go into politics, because you realize that at different levels I've gone as far as senior medical officer. Your hands are tied because the policy decisions are what really make decide what where the money is spent and what are the priorities. And you have a situation where We're just not maintaining the plants. We're not cleaning the AC ducts. We're not servicing equipment. And we should have learned from Cornwall that an AC duct is a petri dish. It is a culture medium for mold. And if you have that situation brewing, then it's going to spread over time. You should know that if you don't maintain an AC unit, it's going to break down. And if you have an AC unit that is broken down in an environment that is humid, you're going to have your operating theaters being infested with mold. So now you have a situation where, they said a stitching time saves 9. We missed several stitches. And it's just unfortunate that it is poor people who are suffering, because it's really poor people who can't afford to get any private care now. And they're the ones who are dying waiting for their cancers and their emergencies that are not severe emergencies.
I'm looking at the mold assessment report on KPH. The conclusion says it's essential that mold remediation, be carried out immediately to reduce airborne mold spores to acceptable levels. Increasing ventilation by opening windows, wow, that's low tech, will help improve indoor air quality. Additionally, regular monitoring of mold levels and indoor air quality should be done every 6 months at least after the mold remediation to ensure long-term mold control. The Ministry of Health, though, and the Minister have said, since this report came out, they have said that they're dealing with it. This is being addressed. So why are you raising it now?
Because there is being addressed and there's effectively addressing. So when Cornwall... when the issues at Cornwall came to light, firstly, they were blaming the staff that they were faking it and their symptoms weren't real. Then they downplayed it and said it was restricted to only one area. Then when they tried to deal with it, experts told them to go in a particular direction. There was an overruling of those experts, and they brought in some Chinese robots to clean the vents. Now, when you have vents that are blocked up from the 1980s, and you have a robot stirring up all of that waste and residue that has been in the vents, it is going to just dig up a whole bunch of spores, and it allowed everything to spread through the hospital. Then you continue to take steps for years and billions of dollars later until you have reached a point now where the actual work of fixing, of building out Cornwall has only started 6 months ago.
Except I'm asking about KPH, though, and you're gone off into Cornwall. So I don't focus on KPH. I tell you what, I do beg your pardon. Can you hold 1 second for me, Dr. Dawes? I'm at the break. Have to take the break. We're coming right back to you right after the...
You see, what happened is that Cornwall Regional should have been the experience that you'd learn from.
And we remind you of our WhatsApp line. It's 876-553.
If you never learn nothing from Cornwall, when Cornwall up maintenance should have ramp up on all major hospitals. They should have ramp up maintenance. We're listening to an interview that was done by Dean Jackson Miller on RGR yesterday evening with Dr.
Mold at the Kingston Public Hospital. Now, last week, Health Minister Dr. Christophe Dunn spoke on Radio Jamaica's hotline. He said the AC unit that had forced the closure of the problems with the AC unit have been fixed. It's because of the AC unit why the operating theaters had developed mold and had to be closed. He said mold remediation work is going on. He said the work that's being done is very thorough. There should be a better situation when that work is finished. And he also said the construction of a new plant at the hospital will fix these problems. I was asking Dr. Dawes just before the break, seeing that the ministry has said they acknowledge the mold problems. They said the remediation work that has been recommended is being done. So I'm asking him why raise this now, and he went off into Cornwall. And I was like, come back to KPH though. Why raise KPH now?
Well, I went off into Cornwall because we were told for 9 years that remediation is being done and it is being dealt with. And we were caught up where for 9 years, all of Western Jamaica, and by extension the island, because sometimes you have to send patients there, we suffered for it. And I just don't trust them because they are not giving us the true story. They always try to downplay the severity of these situations. And I can tell you for a fact, even though they say that the remediation work is going on and they have dealt with the clinic situation already. I'm challenging the Ministry of Health to release a second mold report that was done after they did their remediation work. I'm challenging them to it, since they say that they're speaking so confidently that work is taking place.
So you know of the second mold report?
I'm challenging them to release it.
But if you know of it, why not request it?
I'll just leave it at that.
I understand, but I mean, it's nice political theatrics, but why not just request a report, which you can do by law?
They're not going to give us. They're not going to.
You can do it by law.
They're not going to give this report.
Do it by law. Do it under the ATI Act if you know of the report. Make the request.
And you can do that as well.
No, and we're going to do it as soon as we come off here. I'm just saying, though, rather than just say this, release the report, you could actually take action to force a release.
It's easier for them to just release it since we've asked for it, rather than going through ATI. But the fact of the matter is that the situation is far worse than they're making it seem. They're making it seem as if it's almost business as usual, where surgeries have been outsourced to other hospitals and the clinics have been moved to another area. The fact of the matter is that ICU spaces have been downsized and they're over by Victoria Jubilee Hospital right now. The elective surgery lists have been cut back significantly because they are now shuttling patients to UA and National Chest Hospital and even Bustamante Hospital for children to have some of these cases done. There's a backlog of cancer cases that cannot be cleared because of the slow rate of operating, and there's an accumulation of new cancer patients in the clinics. Dire emergencies are being done. Less dire emergencies have to wait until they become sick enough to be considered dire emergencies. That is the situation that's taking place. When you transfer a patient to a type A hospital for critical care, they're supposed to go to ICU. Now, when you transfer a ventilated patient, they put them on the wards and change the breathing circuits because they have to accept them.
Sorry,
the staff are very. So
I'm not understanding the process you just explained. What's the problem?
So a type A hospital is supposed to accept the more complicated patients from the type C, type B hospitals all across Jamaica. But because they have all of the specialties and the support staff to effectively deal with those patients rather than a rural hospital with not many resources. But when you transfer the patient from those rural hospitals, those type Bs and type C hospitals, and you think that you're sending them to a tertiary care facility that is type A and has better resources, the patients are in many instances worse off because they're just put on the wards with regular patients. Now, the problem is that a lot of the doctors and the nurses, they are afraid to speak out because they're terrified of victimization. So I'll get examples of what is happening and they're asking, please highlight this because they're making it seem as if things are okay and they're not okay. The staff are concerned about the care of their patients. And it is being made to seem like there's a mold problem and we're dealing with it. And in the meantime, clinic is there, theaters are there. But they're not telling you that they have scaled down services significantly. And it is almost a horrifying repeat of what took place at Cornwall, because I saw this in my very own eyes when the mold infestation was discovered at Cornwall. It is the same playbook that they're using. They're using PR to downplay what is taking place and make it seem as if the system is working.
Why we lose that? Sorry about that.
And it's not.
All right, our initial request for comment today, we're told nobody was available for today, but the word we did get from...
All right, so you were listening to an interview with Dean Jackson Miller from RJR and Dr. Alfred Dawes, the opposition shadow spokesperson on health. I'm going to let you hear a response from the GLP. Listen to this response to the issue with the hospitals. Hold on, getting to the response from...
Fortunate that Dr. Dawes displayed political opportunism and partisanship during the PMP media conference on Tuesday.
Let me start it from the top.
It is unfortunate that Dr. Dawes displayed political opportunism and partisanship during the PMP media conference on Tuesday. His partisan rhetoric has no place when discussing matters concerning healthcare. I am advised that the operating theatre at the Kingston Public Hospital will be back up in operation in short order. A problem was recognized and the Christopherson-led health ministry must be credited with moving to fix it. Unlike the former PMP government, the Jamaica Labour Party administration is not into the business of hiding challenges associated with our healthcare system. Dawes should remember it was he who, when the PMP was in office, bemoaned the terrible state of the system and inaction by the PNP. He complained about issues including the garbage bags that were being used for substitute gowns. If he's being honest, Dawes must recognize that the government has invested heavily in upgrading infrastructure, availability of equipment, and service delivery. There is much work to be done, but some positives have been achieved. Dawes should show great objectivity and desist from using the healthcare system to score political points. Jamaica deserves better. It is unfortunate that Dr. Dawes displayed political opportunism and partisanship during the PMP media conference on Tuesday. His partisan rhetoric has no place when discussing matters concerning healthcare. I am advised that the operating theatre at the Kingston Public Hospital will be back up in operation in short order. A problem was recognized and the Christopherson-led health ministry must be credited with moving to fix it.
So, yeah, sorry about that. I was just reading a comment in the chat room. Somebody say, should I have a whole heap more listeners based on the content of the show? Well, we're growing the show. And we're asking you to share, subscribe to everybody. Caribbean Radio HD. You just heard from Dr. Elon Thompson. Senator Dr. Elon Thompson responding to Dr. Alfred Dawes. Dr. Dawes spoke about the issue at the KPH. Yeah, public hospital. The operating theaters are out of commission. Yesterday I played something with the finance minister. And I want to go back to that because we're going to bring on Ralston Hyman because we're going to talk about the economy as well. So let's go back to this clip here from yesterday.
Fourth quarter 2023. There's another way, Mr. Speaker, that statin also represents GDP growth, and that is seasonally adjusted, which compares, for example, the fourth quarter of 2024 versus the third quarter of 2024. And that chart looks quite different, Mr. Speaker. You can see, well, if the charts were going, Mr. Speaker, you could see the recovery in other areas as well. You would see a chart that shows the recovery in mining and quarrying from a deep decline of negative 17.4% in the third quarter and the significant improvement since then. Likewise, Madam Speaker, in the hotels and restaurant sector, the recovery is quite evident there as well, moving from the negative 4.9 to a significantly smaller negative of 0.3%. Madam Speaker, as a government, we remain committed to our growth agenda, which we know is sometimes disrupted.
Colin, man, you have to move fast. Fast and furious.
All right, we're there. We're there. Hold on, I could pause the minister. Because we just...
the minister is important, because the minister doesn't know where I go on. Donald just said 10% tariff on from every country, including Jamaica.
Hold on.
34%.
Where's the while?
Donald just said in the Rose Garden, just signed the executive order with a big signature. 10% tariff on imports from all over the world, 20% tariff on imports from the European Union, 34% on imports from China, and 46% on imports from Vietnam with immediate effect at 401.
Ralston, so hold on now. So that means
Jamaica exported 674 million to the US for the first 10 months of last year.
So he's gonna add 10% tariff to anything where come from Jamaica.
Yeah, man.
For selling at the US.
Yeah, man.
And Jamaica just move 15%, are trying to move 15% GCT from what is coming from the United States.
So I'm telling you, the minister, if a pause her, because she completely out of touch with what takes place.
But Ralston, we were saying going into the budget that the government must talk about Donald Trump now in the White House.
So what tell us, them clueless? Because none of them spoke about that.
No.
That's
nothing. Nothing.
Yep.
And the journalist who goes to the cabinet press briefing, don't ask about these things.
Not only the journalists, the so-called analysts, the bogus analysts them too. So you have the journalists who are reporters, I have the bogus analysts.
All right, explain to my listeners how that 10% is going to affect Jamaica.
It is going to make Jamaican exports to the US more expensive.
Right.
And the competition to sell in the US is going to be greater now because we're competing with more people who want a part of the scarce US dollar. So Jamaica will get left out because Jamaican goods are becoming more expensive than the people who Jamaicans are competing with.
So if we used to, we export what? Yam to the US. We export a little ackee.
Mm-hmm.
So that means our ackee now is going to be selling for 10% more.
Yeah, man. Everything that we sell is going to 10% will be added to it. We sell 674 million to them for the first 11 months of last year. And we'll be competing in the whole world because everybody under 10% except China, European Union, and Vietnam.
So
and their things are more, the prices for their things are cheaper than Jamaica because them have cheaper labor, cheaper money, more capital investments, larger scale production. Yeah.
So Marco Rubio coming to Jamaica did not save us?
No. I doubt that they raised the subject with them because I was saying to them that you need to raise the subject with Lico Marco about those things. But they are so afraid and so trepid that they never raised it. And the minister was in Parliament during the budget debate and yesterday talking about economic growth and she never said anything about those things.
So you think we're going to export less to America now? You think it
will? The trade deficit is going to get wider. Come on, man. That's a natural, man, our biggest trading partner.
Yeah,
so we have a wider trade deficits now, more pressure for the Bank of Jamaica in terms of stabilizing the dollar, more economic downturn. That is why I'm saying to you that the minister will have a pause her because she was talking about economic growth yesterday.
Yeah.
And she never said anything about these things that will be happening to our major trading partner. And although everybody knew that this announcement was going to be made.
But we were all listening out for what Donald was going to say in the Rose Garden. She not sound like she did have that on her agenda.
No, she never even mentioned it. That's the point I'm making. I'm telling you how much these people are out of touch. How could you be a finance minister in a developing countries where America is the greatest trading partner and you said nothing about what the Donald was doing while the markets have been selling off for weeks because everybody was awaiting what he was going to do with bated breath. These people are completely out of touch with reality.
Canada, they are reacting to Donald.
Yeah, man. Everybody reacting.
But can we react? Can Jamaica react?
The only reaction you can do is to lower the cost of energy and to diversify your trading partners. She, neither the Prime Minister who spoke for 5.5 hours, never said anything about those things. Well, the point I'm making to you, while the whole world was preparing for these things, because this is not something that came upon us suddenly like a thief in the night.
Not at all.
Donald has been talking about this and the markets have been selling off for weeks before this thing happened. And they spoke and they never said anything about these things.
Because Donald campaigned on this.
Yeah, man. And in the past 3 or 4 weeks, it has become imminent because he has been consistently talking about Liberation Day. And that is why the international equities markets were selling off and the price of gold jumped. And these people are down here where America is our major trading partner. And they never said anything about those things in their budget presentation. So it tells you how out of touch they are.
I am concerned about this tariff.
Well, it happened today.
I am concerned about the tariff, Ralston.
Yep.
Because it is going to make our goods less competitive.
Yeah, man.
On the market.
Yeah, man.
And are we looking for new markets?
You hear them saying anything about that?
No.
That's the point I'm making.
So we
have to look at the reality. It will have to come from them.
But let's look at. I wanted to hear from you some of the things that she said yesterday, because she said mining and quarries up, tourism is performing better.
Well, we can't bother them primary school business, because what she was talking about is that the decline wasn't as pronounced as the Planning Institute made it to be, celebrating that. While we have a trend line which shows us that the economy declined and decelerated from recovery of 6.5% in the first quarter of 2022 to minus 0.8% during the fourth quarter of 2024. That's a deceleration and decline over a 3-year period.
Right.
This minister is completely out of sync with what is taking place.
And
we really don't have the time to see.
And the decline outweighs the little growth what we have in 2024, because we saw.
Man, that's the point I'm making. We're dropping from a recovery of 6.5% in the first quarter of the year 2022.
Right.
To a decline of 0.8% during the fourth quarter of 2024. That tells you that the economy has been decelerating and declining for almost 24 months.
The first quarter grew by 1%. Second quarter by 0.2%. And then we had a
decline by 3.3%. And the fourth quarter declined by 0.8%. But the point I'm making to you, we had a recovery of 6.5% during the first quarter of 2022. Then it dropped to 4.8% during the second quarter. Then climbed to 5.9% during the third quarter. Then it dropped to 3.8% during the fourth quarter. This is 2022.
Right.
Then in 2023, first quarter we were up by 4.2. In the second quarter of 2023, we were down 2.3. The third quarter, 3.3. The fourth quarter, 1.7. The first quarter of 2024, 1. The second quarter, 0.2. And the third quarter, minus 3.3. And the fourth quarter, minus 0.8%. So this thing has been taking place from the first quarter of 2022. We're on this downward trajectory.
But Ralston, something that jumped out at me. The Prime Minister presented a graph in his budget presentation that shows that downward trending up, and use it to tell the people that this is steady growth.
That is steady deceleration and decline.
The graph showed the decline, show the downward trend.
Yep.
And the Prime Minister said this is a steady decrease of poverty. Say poverty will go down when poverty was actually up.
Yeah, man.
No, Raleigh. Seriously, no. This country, Raleigh. When we look at, there was a press conference yesterday, and from that press conference with Dr. Dar saying the 4 operating theater at the KPH, they are down. The operating theaters at Cornwall Regional not up yet. We only have 1 Type A hospital operating in the country. Do we have money to fix all of these things, Raleigh?
Yeah, man.
But
we misallocated the money.
So why we're not fixing it?
We spent, because them not see that as a priority. We spent 11.4 billion on a vote buying exercise. But I could have bought a whole lot of them equipment. Right? Cornwall Region was supposed to cost $2 billion. It's gone almost 26 billion. All of those things are misallocation of funds. They're also talking about another 20,000, which is another vote buying exercise.
Right, that's another $1 billion.
Yeah, all that money could be used. So that 12.4 billion could be used to facilitate all those things they're talking about. So it's a matter of prioritization. It's not a matter of money. It's a matter of what they see as priority.
We know the food bill was $1.6 billion after 10 months. Have we gotten the 12 months figures yet?
No, man, the food bill for the first 11 months, let me just give, man. I've had them figures at my fingertip. 1.817 billion.
And that's
food
for
and consumer good bill.
And that's for 11.
Yeah, for 11 months. And that was more than our total export. So our total export was 1.702 billion. And the food and consumer goods bill was 1.817 billion. Almost 100 million more.
How are we going to come out of this rally? How?
Well, I don't believe the people who are running the place now know how to come out of this. They are completely at sea, and you can judge it by what is happening and what they talk about. As I said, the minister talked all kind of primary school nonsense yesterday, and she never focused on what the Donald was doing today. How can you be running a country that is America's major trading partner, and everybody else around the world thinking and preparing about this thing, and you are not even mentioning it and talking about growth? The whole thing is a joke.
Where is tourism right now? Tourism is up.
Tourism declined by 0.3% during the fourth quarter.
Right. Manufacturing
is down.
Manufacturing
is down. Manufacturing is down by 0.5%. Mining and quarrying down by 0.23%. Agriculture then down by 10.6%. Construction down by 2.7%.
So we see most of those 12 sectors then still declining in the fourth quarter.
7 of the 12 sectors are still in decline.
7. In the third quarter we had 11.
Yeah, man.
So now it's 7.
And the minister was celebrating that.
Ralston, the census. Talk to us a little bit about the census, the importance of a census, how much money was allocated for it, and where we are to date. Tell me,
the
listeners.
Census is about the most important planning tool for the government. $4 billion is conducted every 10 years. $4 billion was allocated, and nobody knows where we are now.
And this is the most money that has ever been allocated for the census.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
And
nobody knows.
Every other census we get a result, right?
Huh?
Is this the first time that we're not getting a result?
Yeah, man. Never happened before, and nobody not even talking about it.
Who is to be held accountable for this?
The greatest minister of finance and his successor now.
Because this come under the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah, man, and everyone where I left it.
Jamaicans.
In success, I never talk about it.
Jamaicans, you hear about that. The national census. This is how we know how much people living in the country.
Yeah, man.
Where they are living. Where we're having population boom. Where we're having a decline. Where you need to put another clinic. Where you should put a hospital.
Another school.
Where you need another school. Where you need more jobs. You need to create more jobs for the people. So without a census is like your radar.
You grew up in the dark.
And nobody talks to us about that.
Nobody talks about it again. The greatest minister of finance ran away and left it. And his successor doesn't even talk about it.
Ralston, let's go back to Donald Trump and what he's doing and how other countries are dealing with this.
Well, everybody's saying that they're going to impose their own tariffs on American goods. So what we're going to see is the start of a great recession or a great depression. And that is why when I'm telling about Jamaica soon bounce back, it's difficult to see how Jamaica will bounce back out of this. And that is why I'm saying they are totally at sea and they are not forward looking. Because if they were forward looking, they would have been planning and talking about these things because other countries have been doing it.
And just give us an idea of some of the things that other countries are saying that they are going to do.
Well, all the other countries, the Canadians, the Chinese, the Europeans, they say they are going to impose their own tariffs on America. So let's just say that Jamaica is a small country and we're afraid of America, so we're not going to do that. What we should have been doing is talking about improving food security by boosting the agricultural sector, lowering the cost of energy, and diversifying our trading partners in order to reduce our reliance on America. We have done nothing more than trying to kiss up.
Obi.
Hi, Colin, yeah, man.
Obi, rally.
America doesn't have friends. America has interests.
So when America come to Jamaica, it is something that they want from us why they were here then?
Yeah, well, most certainly, America has interests. America doesn't have friends. When they come to you, especially this president. This president is very transactional. If you're not getting anything from you, they're not in anything with you.
Ralston, I have Obi on the next line. Obi Wagwan.
Hey, respect, Colin. Hi, Raleigh, how you doing?
Yeah, man, yes, Obi.
So Raleigh.
And hi to the listeners and viewers.
So Raleigh was just telling us, Obi, that Trump just signed the order with immediate effect in the Rose Garden that he's gonna put tariff on everything coming from Jamaica to the US, 10%.
Yeah, man. Well, you know, I spoke to former United Nations Ambassador Curtis Ward on Monday, and he actually said almost verbatim all that Ralston had just said, you know, about America, basically. As a matter of fact, he was wondering what was the quid pro quo here, because he's saying that what happened, America always, whatever American do is always transactional.
Yeah.
And at all times, they will have to get more than what they give. So he was actually wondering aloud what would have been said or the deal that would have been cut in the room privately with Rubio and Prime Minister Holness. You know, because as I've said to you elsewhere, Colin, that I really and truly, and Ralston can really tell me, I can't say the real benefit of the visit of Rubio to Jamaica. I haven't yet to see it. I don't know if Raleigh, you know, may have examined it more carefully and can shed some light on what that visit benefit us. All I know is that we are still wondering what is the scenario, what is the real deal as it relates to the Cuban health professional, because what we have seen is some of the professionals gone back home and we have not seen the replacement. So there is a vacuum in our health system.
Let's see what Raleigh know, Obi. Hold on there. Raleigh. Yeah, man. What you get from the Rubio visit?
Well, my take is that it's just a waiting game where they just phase out the program over time.
And Chris Tufton is gone to Asia, we hear. Is it to look doctors? No, we hear that Chris Tufton is off to Asia. Is it to look doctors and nurses?
Yeah, man. Remember, he told you before that he's going to be looking doctors and nurses from the Philippines and those places. So I believe what they have done is, as Rubio say, review. So over time, as the people forget about it, when the contracts expire, just don't renew it and just phase out the program without any great fanfare.
Wow. So we're ready to throw away the Cubans?
Yeah, man. We did that with Venezuela.
SSL.
Remember, let me explain something to you. This government love talk about debt to GDP. Venezuela gave us the biggest break on the debt to GDP. I was a significant part of that negotiation, the Petrocarib buyback. They opposed it. The current finance minister opposed it. Ardisha opposed it. Arbidil opposed it. Yeah, and now they talk about it, and look what we did to Venezuela. So, I mean, it's standard procedure, deja vu.
Isn't there still a case in court with Jamaica and Venezuela?
Yeah, man, because they have demanded half a petrogram over $1 billion and okay. The money is supposed to be in escrow. Yeah.
Go ahead, Obi.
And Raleigh and Colin, if you notice, you didn't get any straight.
Obi, is your background noisy?
No, my background.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Yes, if you notice, Raleigh, he punctuate all his statement with props, you know, props. He never speak with any clear definitive language at all. You know?
No, because they know what they agree to.
Yeah. So we with that Raleigh, we examine and we look for those things, you know. And I get the impression that even people in the media is afraid to really discuss some of these matters, because maybe some of us are wonder, say, boy, they might look at our social media thing and take our visa when we decide to travel. But I really
man, a whole for people, not only those media, private sector people, a whole for people who say them big are afraid to discuss these issues. Simple.
No.
Let's not go around the corner. Yeah.
Tell me something now, Raleigh. Julian asked the minister yesterday if we're going to have growth for the first quarter of 2025. And she said the prediction is between 0.1 to 1%. Would that consider us getting out of a recession?
No, man, that is stagnation. You're still at the same place. You're still on the floor. And I'm saying it is going to be difficult to get that given what is happening right now.
Yes.
So even if you got that, you'll still be crawling on the floor. And then thereafter, between March and June, you are going to be in further decline based on what is happening now, because they have made no preparations to deal with what is happening now. The world changed fundamentally just 4 o'clock a while ago.
Just in the flash of a pen.
Yeah, man, the twinkling of an eye or the twinkling of the Donald's pen. Everything changed.
Everything changed.
Yeah, man.
So, hold on, Obi. Isn't this gonna mean higher food prices for the Americans, Raleigh?
Yeah, man. More inflation, higher interest rates for longer, slower economic growth, ultimately recession. And this is a global thing. It's not a global recession in start.
And before you come in, Obi, isn't this also gonna affect a remittance to Jamaica?
Must, and affect tourism, because people don't have any money, disposable income shrinking. They are not going to travel. They are not going to be sending back any money, because remember, the remittances are affected by two things. People have to be hiding. So apart from the fact that you're losing your job and you're not making more money, people also have to be hiding because of the immigration policy. So it's a double whammy.
Come in, Obi.
And also, Raleigh, and also based on the cost, people will have less disposable income to send home as well by way of recession, by way of remittance. You know, so it's such a bad thing. Or it's a cycle. It's a cycle really that we're seeing. You know, Raleigh and Colin, I remember as a boy, in Boys Brigade and later Scout and Cadet. There was a command. There was two commands. One as you were and mark time. You know, you're marking time. So you're marking on the spot. And what you just said a while ago, Raleigh, it reminds me of those two commands. Colin, you're an army man. So
yes, man. Yeah, man. Marching at the same spot.
Yeah, man.
Indeed. So all in all, Raleigh, when we look at this this projection that Favor basically talk about, the movement based on how the Jamaican government is moving now, we have not seen anything in the budget that will take us on any form of growth trajectory. We have not seen that major build out to say agriculture, you know, manufacturing and anything. We heard from Mr. Azan the other day, and he said in his 30-odd years, it's the worst he has ever seen the sector. So when you put all of those things together, Raleigh, and what the signing that coming out of the United States, paint the picture for us again, please.
Yeah, man, they have no plan to deal with anything, man.
So you're saying that it looks bad, Raleigh. In the budget also, they were expecting.
They're taking the same approach that they took in 2007, and we're going to be hurt badly by it. It reminds the same people, you know.
Yes.
So you see that thing with Damon Crawford circulating all about the place. That is gospel in terms of the economic history. The same people, the same everything, the same reaction.
Yeah, we have to open the people's eyes.
I want to ask Raleigh a question when afterwards, Colin. You can go ahead and then you tell me when I can ask him a question.
Raleigh, in the budget that the GLP tabled, they are expecting $2 billion worth of foreign direct investment.
Right.
Is that likely?
You know how much foreign direct investment we got last year? 380 billion. So that was even crazy before what happened today happened.
But who me know hear nobody question that.
No, but who are questioning? You hear the analysts, the so-called propagandists, who pass as analysts. You hear them question anything?
So without
some of them don't even know where to find that number.
Without that direct investment coming into the country for 2025, what is going to happen to the plans that they are putting forward?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. So those are just empty plans. What they are going to see based on their approach which is totally out of sync with what is happening in the world now. What we're going to see is a repeat of the 2008-2010 period. It's the same approach, the same nonchalance, the same denial, the same people. Wayne was not a part of that team. Andrew Wallace was a part of that team. Ardisha was a part of that team. Ed Bartlett was a part of that team. The same people.
Somebody
was a part of that team.
Somebody in the chat room is saying that 2 dozen eggs, a flatter eggs, in Brooklyn, New York, is $18 US.
Mm-hmm.
That sound heavy.
Those prices are going to climb even higher.
That's 3,000 machine, brother.
Yeah, man. Those prices are going to climb even higher.
Get ready.
Inflation is accelerating in the US. You know, the Fed's preferred inflation gives the personal consumption expenditure index jumped to 2.8% in February. So we follow these things keenly, you know.
So if that is happening in the United States, trouble coming.
Yeah, man.
If we never even did have trouble, trouble will come.
The trouble will come. We did have trouble before because of the incompetence of the people down here. So it's what you call double trouble, as Barry said.
Go ahead, Obi.
Raleigh, I am putting forward something here, but I will put it to you in a question form. The projection of the debt to GDP ratio by 2026. 2026. What is it projected to be, Raleigh?
They're predicting 60%. That's what they want to get to.
60%. So no. Based on what we are seeing now, this headwind that's certainly upon us, and with nothing in the budget to really move Jamaica in a positive way that we saw, do you believe that it is now even more germane, Raleigh, for us to look at relaxing that 60%, maybe by 2 or 3 or whatever percentage points, and so on, and now really look at ourselves locally to see what can we do by basically, relaxing that aggressive target and put some money in the economy. So that we can save our people from starvation and really help Jamaica. What say?
Well, they never did it in COVID-19. They are not going to do it right now, although that would be a prudent thing to do. They don't have that kind of prudence. They never did it in COVID. They still wanted to go the same route in COVID, and they will be determined to go the same route now. They are not going to change course.
So you're.
Go
ahead, Obi. Go ahead.
Sorry. Raleigh, based on all of this that we're talking about, talk to us how you see the poverty trajectory going.
Poverty is going to continue to increase, Obi. Don't you see that? Poverty is going to continue to increase because if the economy is declining, then poverty must be increasing if you are in the middle of an economic decline. Poverty is now 20% in the rural area, 16.7% across Jamaica. That was in like 2021, right now in 2025. So those numbers are up and are going to continue to go up as the economy continues to decline.
Why, Raleigh?
My God.
It's
bleak.
Obi.
Was interested to hear from some of the surrogates from the Labour Party and the government.
Obi. I'll go and let go Raleigh, So if you have any more questions for Raleigh, go ahead because I'll go and allow Raleigh to run.
Oh no, just to say, Raleigh, how can you see any glimmer of hope, Raleigh? Because trust me, when you talk about our people really at the suffering, what is the glimmer of hope? I know one of them in the main one, certainly, is a change of government. What else are you seeing, Raleigh, as a glimmer of hope for the Jamaican people?
Well, let me tell you, I have no confidence in this Minister of Finance and the economic team. So the first step would have to be a change. And then when we have a change now and we have some more prudent people, we can look at the whole thing of reducing the cost of energy, boosting agriculture, diversifying our trading partners, reducing our reliance on the USA with like-minded people, because The entire world is against the USA now. So it's an opportune time to reduce our dependence on the US. We'll have many friends if we decide to reduce our dependence on the US now, because that is what everybody is doing. Mark Carney, the new Prime Minister of Canada, who was the governor of the Bank of Canada, the governor of the Bank of England, says there's no more friendship between America and Canada. So
we're
we have
not
a
friends
whole
anymore.
lot of like-minded people in Europe and Canada and those places that we need to diversify our trading partners and start dealing with them and reduce our dependence on America. But we need a new set of wise people to do it.
Raleigh, do we have the wherewithal though? Because Canada, which was one of the largest purchasers of United States booze, tequila and them kind of liquor, they actually stopped by it. Do we have the wherewithal to tap into those markets?
We have the wherewithal, that's what I'm saying. So
we have enough white rum?
set of people. No, but remember, these people are not, based on their pronouncement, we see that they are not going anywhere. We need a different set of people with a different outlook. That's what I'm saying. An essential precondition is to change the people who are running the country ship, both economic and political, and get a different set of people who understand the world, who can deal with the new dynamic.
Raleigh, I always said to you that if the government don't admit that there's a problem, there will be no plan to fix it.
No solution, and they are not doing it. So that is why I'm saying I have no confidence in them.
Obi?
Yeah, and what you said just now, you know, Colin, it shows an opening that there are opportunity, and what Raleigh has said, there are opportunity. So, for example, you ask the question, do we have enough white rum? Do we have this? Do we have that? It's an opportune time now to basically give that ease so that you could basically put a little more in the productive sector to really drive this kind of production so we can take opportunity of those obvious opening that will now be created. What do you say about that, Raleigh?
That's the point I'm making. Trump has isolated America from the rest of the world. So we have many friends across the world now who are against America, who we can join with and trade with in order to reduce our dependence on America, because everybody is reducing their dependence on America right now. So there's a big opportunity in food, in creative industries, in all of those things. All we need is a different set of people who have more sense to run this country, because there's no way I could have any confidence in this finance minister and the economic team based on our own pronouncements.
Ralston, as we let you go, tell our listeners why you have no confidence in the finance minister and this administration to take this economy into growth.
Because they don't understand the world. All their pronouncements, all the people who listen to them, they said nothing about what is happening in the world crisis, right? They have no plans to grow the economy. The Minister of Finance, she has mathematical difficulties in adding and in subtracting and all of those things. No, you can't have confidence in people like that.
Raleigh, thanks for your time.
All right, sir. Bless up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Yes, Obi. Yeah, man.
Bless up.
Obi.
Oh, my golly.
Obi, there's a thing in the chat room. Somebody in New Jersey said that they pay $13 for a dozen of eggs. $13 for a dozen. Here's somebody else is saying that they pay $11 for eggs.
And somebody said they pay $18 in New York
for 2 dozen.
For 2 dozen.
Yes.
So that's $9 per dozen there, and mighty God.
Let me just take time out to say good evening to Brother Lee Croft, Sister Nicole, Sister Tanya, DJ Israel, Sister Cynthia Thomas, Servant David, Erica. Big up on yourself. Go ahead, Obi.
Yes, Colin, I'm really taking aback, Colin, because.
Go ahead, man. May I listen to you?
Yeah, man. I said I'm really taken aback because it's almost frightening to think what will happen in the near future here in Jamaica if we continue along this trajectory. And I think it is even more germane now to point to the people of Jamaica how important change is.
You see,
how important change is.
Let me take a call, Obi. Let me take a call. Obi, let me take a call.
Will happen.
Hello, good evening. Turn down your instrument. 305-654-7944. Talk to me. Caribbean Radio HD.
Colin.
Yeah.
What, Mr. Colin? Good evening, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm from Linstead and I live in America for 14 years and I do wedding cake, birthday cake. I can't do American black cake.
Yeah.
And egg is all $20 for the brown egg, a dozen.
The brown egg, $20 a dozen.
Yes.
They don't have to manage.
Well, and that's it. And then I see a lot of people going to Jamaica and I ask them to buy a white rum. And when they come back, they say no white rum. You ever hear anything like that?
Well,
and can plant a Jamaica?
White rum did scarce the other day. That's true. White rum did scarce.
Yes.
But
and when people come and you tell them, say, look, $80 or $100 for a 12-inch cake, them a ball. But you have to look on the ingredients and what you have to buy. The flour when me use is $8. I pay for a pack of flour.
Nadia said over in Toronto, it's $5.99 for a dozen of large eggs.
All right. Here you go. Yeah, it's not easy.
That's in Canada. And hold on.
Yeah.
I sell my eggs for $3 a dozen in Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Somebody will grow them, have them own eggs, man. That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something.
That's why when I'm coming to Jamaica, my brother, me can warm everything, ship home everything when me want.
But it's
because when you go in Linstead market and you the price, you all want like a piece of yam. Banana, $3 a dozen at Linstead right now. Green banana.
You mean $300 a dozen?
I mean $200.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. How much? Hold on. Me a banana plant, orange, grapefruit, apple, everything. But what happened to the other people then we don't have it?
You know, listen to me. How much a dozen? How much a dozen you pay for banana America?
Hey, you can't get banana when you go all of the food truck them, the African then we have them truck. You get all 6 or 9 banana for $1.50.
Okay. All right. $1.50. That's $200, you know.
Right. And now like the church them and place giving away food. Sometimes you get bananas, so tell you have to call your neighbor and give your neighbor.
Okay. So it's a banana at the price.
Banana, Irish potato, carrot, beetroot, onion.
49 cents a pound.
I don't know Jamaica people are going to manage that. Well, them no one plant, that's the thing, and they have big land of country, so where you go, say, sir?
All right, my friend, we talk again.
Yeah, man, we talk again. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, man. 305-654-7944. 876-804-7072. Conrad O'Brien, my friend, upon the line with me where I talk about what is happening in Jamaica. Conrad, I want to hear your views on the health sector. You saw that press conference with Dr. Alfred Dawes and Jesse James Clark yesterday talking about the issue at the KPH and with Cornwall Regional and the fact that 3 Type A hospital on the island, only 1 in full operation. What are your views?
One in full operation, which is KPH.
No, the right? University Hospital.
I'm sorry, the university.
Hold a sec. Hello, good evening.
The university hospital.
Turn off your instrument in the background and hold on for me. Go ahead, Conrad.
Yeah, man. Colin, the fact is that the health sector is really in a crisis. Yesterday, somebody called me from your side of the island in St. Thomas and made mention of a lady who has a child. Think about a 13 or 14-year-old child with autism, some challenges. The child has issue with the mouth,
a tooth,
and the child is suffering from great discomfort.
Yes.
They have an emergency or a special case scenario in the Ministry of Health. She reached out to the Ministry of Health and they said that the child is not qualified and the child is suffering. And I'm saying that, it just goes to show the crisis that we're having. And that is not the only child. We can point to dozens, if not hundreds, of children and also adults across the country who are suffering and really cannot get any form of care. I am familiar with people who have gone into KPH and PrEP, actually was admitted and had to be turned out of the hospital because the operation theater could not accommodate them based on difficulty. So all in all, Colin, and this kind of nonsense that the Jamaica Labour Party government is purloining, that the health sector, they spend the most money. Obviously, they spend the most money. They do. The least deliverable. And you know what I'm disappointed about, Colin?
Talk to me.
Is to see the relatively newly minted Senator Thompson, I think his name is.
Yes.
Who work over
Elon Thompson.
Talking a lot of nonsense.
I never hear so much. I never hear so much ass manure in all my life coming out of a man who named Doctor.
People who are part of the system. Spanish Town is one of the worst hospitals that we have, and this man coming out to try to paint a robust and a great picture because for politics, because he's named a senator.
Hold on there, Conrad. Hold on there. I could take this caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, good evening, man.
Yeah, man. How you do?
Yes, I'm all right, man. Yo, I'm calling from Canada.
Yeah, man. Talk to me.
Yes. I just heard about the story with your when it was mentioned it, and the caller that was talking there was saying that Donald Trump impose tariff on Jamaica, and not for all the Caribbean country, but Jamaica involved in it.
Yes, 10%.
So I would want 10% tariff on Jamaica. So my question is to the I don't remember what his name. I just want to ask a question. I'm just curious to ask a question.
Yeah, man, ask the question.
Yes, sir. What is the reason why America imposed, Donald Trump imposed tariff on Jamaica? What was the reason following up to that?
Him just put tariff on everybody. What is the reason for putting tariff on Canada?
Well, putting tariff on Canada is because Canada doesn't want to. Justin Trudeau didn't want to align himself with certain things that America wanted him to do, right? So basically, what was happening is that over here, as to my knowledge, is that the border, America did want Canada to lock down on the border and not allowing drugs and gangs and guns to come through the border, which Canada already did. But because Trump want to take it a notch higher, he wanted to impose tax Canada more on the goods that they sell over there. So what Canada do? Canada react back and taxing them even more, and then align himself now with.
As it relates to your question, we don't know exactly why the tariff was placed on Jamaica, but we know Trump campaign on making America great again and putting America first, getting back jobs in America. So he believes that if he put more taxes on import, then I think that's Trump's thinking. Conrad, you want to respond to that? Hold on, caller.
Yeah, that's a part of the theory. So what we're seeing is the insular approach, the American first policy that Trump campaigned on. But what happened? He was told by some of the world best economists that it will be inflationary and it would basically stymie the growth of the American economy. So it will have the opposite impact of what Trump is talking about as it relates to Jamaica and why the tariff will be put on Jamaica, because Trump is seeing the Caribbean as a part of the whole globe that is sending in things in America, and he believed that, listen, he wants to stop that as much as possible because he wants to basically carry out his American first policy. But the world is not like that, because what is going to happen is that it's going to mean that the whole business of raw material and so on will definitely be more expensive for manufacturers in America. We have already heard from those people who are talking about their eggs and whatever, the high cost of all of that. And bet your bottom dollar that you're going to see much, much more of that. So it's so, as some people are saying, it's the part of evil what people are describing as the ethnic cleansing of America by Trump.
All right, hold on, Conrad. Yeah, caller. Thanks for your call. You have anything else?
So my next thing is that I wonder what's this going on with this GLP leaders in Jamaica, because I don't know why they are so rebutted against when someone from the opposition party come up with an idea that okay, this is what is happening, and I see that the minister on the press conference putting out this bulletin to the country and bringing proof to the country, and then the opposition, the prime minister, which is the power.
Hold on, Conrad, let him finish. Go ahead, sir.
I don't know what his name. And trust me, I don't even interested to know his name, because I can see that really and truly. I can say really and truly, he is not of the interest at heart for the people of Jamaica.
All right, my brother. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Topton, I think Topton is talking now.
Is the same Elon Thompson person that you talk about who responded to Dr. Dawes?
That man is a major letdown. It's a man I thought he was basically a Jamaican at heart when he was president for the Medical Doctors Association. But it just shows how some people can allow partisan politics to blind them and literally turn them in idiots. And I'm saying that without any fear of successful contradiction. This man, Elon Thompson, is behaving like a buffoon. I tell you.
But you know one of the things that I am looking at these people, they are saying that when Dr. Dawes, hold on the head boy. They are saying when Dr. Dawes report came out when PNP was in power and made a statement of using garbage bag to make bins, aprons to do surgery. How come now him saying that? Then isn't that a good thing? That when the PNP was in power, Dr. Dawes saw a wrong and called it out. So now the people of Jamaica, hold on, Obi. Now the people of Jamaica must now understand the caliber of the man. So when his side was in power, he saw a wrong. Him never cover it up. Him come out and talk about it. So he sees a wrong now. What you want him to do? Cover it up?
And the then administration dealt with it.
Exactly.
Dealt with it. They did not come out and curse him and vilify him like what people of this government will do. You know, you can't open your mouth. And as somebody said to me, when was it? On Monday, that the day that the election announced, the PNP is going to get a bounce of between 3 and 4 percentage points, because there are so many people who is in the woodwork right now, Colin, who are literally afraid to even say, boy, politics, let alone to say who they will be supporting the PNP. So they're saying that, listen, they're waiting for the date to be announced before they come out of the woodworks, because at that time they won't be able to do them anything again.
Megawatt is saying Megawatt is saying that it was good for them when Dr. Dawes came out against the PNP, but now it's not good that he's coming out against the GLP. Head boy, good evening.
Good evening to you and my good friend Conrad O'Brien. Colin,
yes.
last week you asked you played a clip or a section of the parliament that was talking about no tariff on imported items into Jamaica. Yes?
Or the one
Did you see it?
The one that they removed GCT from raw foods and vegetables and meats.
Do you know? Did you see what came out of Washington today?
Ralston just spoke to us about it. 10% tariff on all goods coming out of the Caribbean, including Jamaica.
And we're removing tax from raw food. Go ahead, Ed boy.
But hear what? Hear what? What the administration is not saying to Jamaicans, that they need to stop the lying. And Favour Williams deliberately did not address the question that she didn't come to the parliament and tell us who was pressuring them. Now I'm of the understanding that this pressure came from the United States.
But it couldn't, Head boy. It couldn't.
No.
US can't pressure nobody while them are put on tariff. How could they?
But I'm saying to you, what would warrant an emergency of the parliament? A piece of bill being pushed hurriedly through, like Nicodemus in the night, for them to now come and tell us that we're now hearing that the Americans have reciprocated a 10% tariff. I am telling you, she couldn't say who. Remember now, the opposition leader asked her, who is it that is asking you to do this? They said, oh, we'll get back to you and give you the answers on that.
Her answers said that it came out of a review from the World Trade Organization, that when they came to review Jamaica, they said, oh, you have not implemented this, you need to do this.
You want to hear me in my you want to hear my answer in my Danny Buck voice? Lie them lie, lie them lie. Yeah?
but hold on, Ed boy, remember that Dr. Nigel Clark came with that last year too, you know?
Yeah, but look here.
And it was the opposition that stepped in and put a hole on it.
WTO, the World Trade Organization.
Yeah.
By the way, it has been having issues with a lot of countries who have not been compliant. Why is it that Jamaica now decides that they want to be in full compliance? Because the pressure did not come from the WTO alone. And that is what I'm saying. America.
Hold on. Let me tell you something. Hold on. I want to tell you something that I pick up. That I don't know if you don't pick up. I don't know if you heard the questions that the opposition leader asked. Yes. This removal of GCT, both on raw food and vegetables and meat, and on the armored carriers, are retroactive.
Exactly.
Who is going to get that money? Because one is retroactive to April last year, and one is retroactive to July. Now the opposition leader asked some pertinent questions, you know. And I don't hear mainstream media pick it up, because that is why they had to suspend the debate, because Favour could not even attempt to answer those questions.
And she did not come yesterday in the parliament with any answers to the questions either. And so what I'm saying to you now, Colin, and I'm saying to your listeners, let us use, there's a simple scientific principle that is called causation and effect. Yeah? It is simple. The rain is either falling or not falling. I can't have both of them.
Right.
Yeah? And if they responded to this issue, why were they prompted to do a retroactive policy? Was it an attempt? Because it's obvious that Washington was reaching out to them before.
But who going to get that money, brother? If they had hold on, Ed boy, hold on. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio HD.
Yeah, hello, good evening.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. You know, the three greatest leaders you have in the world was Hugo Chavez, Michael Manley, and Cuban
Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro.
The money was for the people. Because if people listen to what Michael said, this country, Jamaica, will be a 100% better.
Well, you see,
that go without saying.
It's easier to do the wrong thing, and we want to take Mr. Vegas to school this evening, you know. I want somebody call Mr. Vegas and tell him to get in this classroom, because we are going to school Vegas this evening. I'm glad you go to that.
Colin.
Our great leaders.
Colin.
Yes, Obi.
Colin. Your caller is there, but just 1 second there. And I spoke to Mr. Fulton, the immediate past president of the JS, and he explained this business of the removal of the taxes.
Yeah, man, we had him on
the
Wednesday. We had him on last Wednesday.
You had him on Wednesday?
Yeah, man, we had him on last week Wednesday.
Well, it would be important to get him on it now, because he, as a matter of fact, he wrote a piece on it.
Yes.
And he is vehemently against it, because this argument about the WTO, it's actual hogwash. And head boy had just explained that a while ago as well. It is literally hogwash. But I want to throw this into the mix, Colin. And head boy and
hold on, let me just finish with this call, Obi, and we can go back to head boy. Right, go yeah, Colin, you have another point you want to speak on?
Yeah, man. You see, when Michael tell the whole Caribbean to link up, them they want to do it. If they're into that, Americans have nothing for you know.
No. But anybody who can't feed themselves, you know, any country who can't feed themselves, you're worse than an invalid.
Then that's because the man say, anyway, you see, we plan up, plant it.
Yes, man.
And then I went to Jamaica when I say, oh, now I'm going to school, come to no farming. But yet, see, I go and tell them to go broke stone, and the whole of them go broke stone.
Sure. All right, my brother. All right, give thanks, Sister Tanya, Sister Marcia. Good evening. DJ
Colin.
Shane. Hold on, let me go back to Ed Boy. Ed Boy. Hold on.
Yes, sir, Colin.
Yeah, man.
Right. So I don't want to belabor that point, because I just want, what I want is I'm calling for the finance minister to publish the report that they said was a guidance from them to the WTO. Let me see where the WTO said to Jamaica.
But you know the issue, and if you listen to Julian is saying that there are processes, you know. If somebody pressure you in the WTO to remove that tax, then you can even go to a hearing.
Yes.
And you understand? None of that was done. I am of the opinion, and let me tell you where my opinion is. I am of the opinion that somebody would get a big piece of money, a kickback, somebody local would get a big piece of money or stand to benefit tremendously from the removal of GCT from imported raw food, vegetable, and meat.
And let me tell you, you know what is our largest import market for that? United States of America. So let us not dance and pussyfoot around the issue. Yeah? That's one. The other one, Colin, I want to raise. You see this journalist named George Davis. Yeah?
Talk to me.
This boy needs to learn some manners. And let me tell you why. I am disappointed in the press association, and I'm saying this again. You cannot have men who, by the way, KD Knight injured his foot. The man injured his foot, you know, a couple of weeks before that, we used to see KD Knight walk up and down normally. And you are now going to use somebody's health condition.
That boy, him rude for you.
Yeah?
Rude.
With disrespect, no, when Audley Shaw lost his voice, nobody was parading in the PNP and disrespecting Audley about his voice. The whole, including the PNP, was happy to hear that Audley got back his voice. You don't come with them sort of journalism the way I disrespect people who have served the country. It is wrong.
It's not journalism. It's not journalism. It's one like a dirty backawall, sit down, careless argument George and him crew on. And I tell you something, I had to address it, because listen, first thing to begin with, as you correctly said, head boy, KD was up and about. Actually, I gather that he was doing something at home and he fell and broke his leg. Right? Break his leg. Also, Bobby, we all know that Bobby have a issue with his back, but here it is. Both gentlemen, they are in their full faculty and so on. And I tell you, the worst thing that you can do, the worst thing that you could do to an older person is if that person wants to be a part of something that they're accustomed
to tell them not to come.
And you deprive them of that. Remember that Mr. Seaga, and I'm saying it with respect, because Mr. Seaga was literally walking on his face when they pull him out to be on campaign trail and nobody was saying anything. Right? So
Obi.
I don't know where this kind of out order behavior come from with George Davis. And he keep on doing it. And this morning, 6 o'clock this morning, Marlon Morgan sent it to me. And with a really out of order comment. 6 o'clock this morning, he sent it to me. And I replied to him and said, Marlon, what you guys doing is just nasty, and you must cease and desist from doing it.
Let me sum it up, gentlemen. Let me sum it up for you all. I don't know if you come from deep country like me, but my grandfather would have looked on George Davis and say, you see when foot clot turn tablecloth? That's what they behave. Hold on. Talk to me, caller. 305-654-7944. Caribbean Radio HD.
It's the time Jamaica to come together and do them farming and feed themselves.
Yes, sire.
You know, if you take no food from America.
Because we not get the best food from America neither.
No, it's time now. Deal with your Caribbean people. Get food from them.
Yes.
Because since I must put turf on you, go back in your farming. They need to bring back banana. They need to bring back cane.
All right, sir. Respect.
And because we need the right white room.
Yes. All right. Blessings, my brother.
Yes.
Thanks for the call. Where Ed Boy gone?
Yeah.
Let me get back Ed Boy upon the line. Go ahead, Obi. Go ahead in the meantime.
Man, I'm just saying that, the whole thing, Colin, and we can't take out of the whole mix of the discussion, because remember that while we heard from Rubio, where he said that, listen, Jamaica was not a part of those countries that, was holding the Cuban salary and so on.
Yeah.
But you have to bear in mind that other persons from the Caribbean really push back in a very, very, very progressive way.
And decisive way.
And decisively. So with all of that now, all of those things coming together to basically form a part of the policy position that Trump signed off on today, because he was not happy as to what came out of the meeting with Rubio in the Caribbean?
Maybe
Could that
not
be a part of it as well?
Or, Obi, you cannot leave that out of it. Ed Boy, what say you?
No, let me tell you something, America is trying to, and let's just be straight. I have said what my position is on China. But what America is doing, my friends, is America is trying to reimpose itself on the Caribbean, right? And this administration in the US is looking some sort of hegemonic power that they're trying to wield something that they no longer have. And this is the fundamental problem when you have a joker at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who cannot say to them in Washington, look here, your largest market for imports in the Caribbean is Jamaica. Yeah?
Yes.
Your largest tourism market in the Caribbean is Jamaica. And if you continue to do this nonsense, right, we will have to stand up to you. But what is happening is when somebody have 28 bank accounts and one have 5 and one have 10 sitting in the United States, you have an administration virtually who is compromised, and this is why we are getting, as Jamaicans that say, you know what, the messy end of the stick, because there's nobody in the cabinet who can stand up to them.
I tell you something, head boy and Colin. I am prepared to give Minister Johnson Smith a pass on this one. It is not her. She has nothing to do with it. She's a member of a cabinet that is chaired by a prime minister. So if the prime minister, who is the chairman of the cabinet, basically have a position that they sign up, because these things deliberated in cabinet, and at the end of the day, the chairman of the cabinet has the final say. Everybody come with their piece and so on, but the chairman of the cabinet has the final say and them come out with a united position. So whatever the Minister of Foreign Affairs is doing, she is basically carrying the ultimate position of the government that is headed by Andrew Michael Roddenberg and Holness.
Exactly so. Exactly so.
Anyway, brothers, let me give somebody a chance to come in.
I want to ask you one question before you go, Ed boy. Because we call out for Vegas. Mr. Vegas. Good DJ. But him not have no sense when it comes to politics. He said that when he was a little boy, he was sent to the shop. He was born 1970. 74 him born? Or 74?
He said 71. He said 71 on the radio. He said 71 on the radio. But somebody went to social media. No, hold on. I am telling you this. I heard him with my own 2 ears and nationwide. Hold on, Colin. I know, just listen to what I'm saying. On the social media and whatever you're seeing, it's going to stay there that he was born 1974 because we checked it before. But I'm saying to you that he said that he was born 1971. And he actually said that what you have, some of the date of birth where you see on social media is not the real date of birth. He said that, when was it?
Well, tell you what, him need to post
Monday afternoon, he said it.
Him need to post him birth certificate. Him need to post him birth certificate, in biography.
Absolutely. Since people ask for birth certificate and all sorts of documents,
post him because
in birth certificate.
In bio say Clifford Smith, born Kingston, 1974. However, he said that them send him a shop and them married some goods. That is true. Well, let me not say him go see it. But there was a time in the 70s when if you want a bread, you had to buy a pack of pad. Ed boy, you have any idea what happened then?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. The wicked, including family members of the generation call themselves the Charles, who sit in Eastern St. Thomas. They were a part of a clique which went to Washington. Right? It's the first time an opposition party went to Washington and told Washington to impose trade restrictions on Jamaica. So therefore, what was happening? After 1976, Jamaica could not purchase any goods from the United States. And what happened? In addition to that, the traders who were with the JLP had their goods sitting on the wharf, rotting, under the instructions of Edward Seaga. And there's also the CIA cables now to show that. It was them who did it. And then they campaigned on it. If you listen to an interview with Colonel Charles, him say they campaigned on it. That the people in Tree, that the people would have to buy bread with the ladies specialty materials. It is so they created the issue and now come tell people about that occurred during that time. But remember, by 1980, goods were back on the shelf. In October, and by the following week, goods were back on the shelf.
All right, Ed boy, thank you, Conrad. Tell Vegas what happened.
Let me come in because I want to add a little more clarity to what Ed Boy has said so good. His delivery of that. The fact of the matter is that the night of the election, when the victory announced for the Jamaica Labour Party, by that time, goods started to appear on the Jamaican shelves. The night, right into the morning. So and that cannot be tested. The fact of the matter is that it's not only just on the wall. Goods were in the various supermarkets in their warehouses. Let me make that point, Colin. In their warehouses, what happened? The CIA, aided and abetted by Edward Seaga and operatives of the Labour Party, and the American government, they paid off the merchants in Jamaica to allow who most of them had sided with the Jamaica Labour Party at the time to hold those goods. I remember coming from school as a schoolboy. Well, obviously, I'm coming from school, so it must be as a schoolboy. Coming from school and saw truck, and I went called the supermarket. They're still operating Mandeville, where truckload of flour, rice, cornmeal, and also baby cereal dumped. What happened to them, Colin? They were full with weevil. What you call weevil, the things them. And I think it was the inspector who went into the warehouse and found those. That is the atrocity that took place in the 70s. All a part to destabilize the Michael Manley administration. Because one of the things that you can do to a people is to deprive them of food, because every sector of your population, rich, poor, middle, in between, depend on food. A friend of mine said to me at one point, said that Wayne Chen said to him, he's a friend of Wayne Chen, and he said to me, Wayne Chen said to him, say, if you know, so when you go a function, rich people behave worse than poor people for food. I want to
Brown man, hold on. Brown man in the chat room is saying, remember that there were ships outside Jamaican water sitting with the food. Let me tell you something before I go to this call, Conrad. And I don't know if you remember this. The PNP slogan at the time was stand firm. And the GLP, because they hide the food, they say stand firm and eat worm.
Yes.
I am from a place called Shrewsbury. And anybody from Shrewsbury, Portland, I listen now. You have a place named Chris Corner. After the election around them can dump the mackerel. A months run a Chris Corner sting for brother. And that is why I tell people that I could never become a Labourite. I would have joined a different political party. Hold on, Obi. I can join another political outfit if one come and there's a need. But when a political party makes up its mind to starve the nation for political power, I couldn't work with them. So Vegas, it was the Jamaica Labour Party who orchestrated and paid merchants to hide the food and starve the Jamaican people. Hold on.
Therefore, Colin, if Vegas has sense and know that we are giving him the history lesson, I think he should now go to the Labour Party and say, boy, I can no longer support you because what I thought was the doing of the PNP. Now I'm learning and I'm fully understanding that it was as a result of the Labour Party.
Let me go to this caller. Caller, good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio. Caller, good evening. Welcome to Caribbean Radio.
Yes, are you hearing me?
Hearing you loud and clear now. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, man, blessed. You know, I was watching an article since week on the radio as you're talking about Mr. Vegas. And it's so disappointed when me hear Mr. Vegas came out and calling the lawyer for Vibes Cartel a drug dealer. I cannot believe it is so low. These people would have to go. You understand me?
You want me to tell you something, caller? You see, when your record is expunged, it's supposed to be like it never happened. And let me tell Mr. Vegas that the record of Isaac Buchanan has been expunged. Be careful.
Exactly. And if you really check it out and watch it, you know, because right now it's in the article where Mr. Horace Chang as dealing with drug dealer and money laundering, and nobody's talking about it, you know.
Well, me don't know about that. Me don't know about that either.
Well, I have it right in front of me where the DA is talking about it.
You have to send that article to me right now. Send that.
I can send it to you.
WhatsApp it to the same number where you
right
just
now.
called.
Hold on, Colin. Caller, the article that you have What? Where was it? Where was it written in? See, quote the, because sometimes we have article, but it's not coming from an authentic source.
Yeah, where's the article coming from?
Well, it was in the news, you know. It was on it.
Which news?
I copied, you know. And this was in 19. I'm gonna tell you something. It was what in Article 26C in 2004. Mr. Robinson was named along with the fellow JLP member.
All right. Number I go down no further with it.
I'm gonna send it to you, Shaka. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
Send me the article.
Yeah,
all right.
Please.
All right.
Please.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Because you see, Colin, what happened is that we are responsible, Colin. We are responsible.
Definitely.
We don't want to.
Yeah, we're not defame nobody. 876-804-7072. 305-654-7944. That's 305-654-7944 if you're in the United States. 876-804-7072. So, Mr. Vegas, get it right.
And Colin, what we can do as well, we can also now point Vegas to the CIA. The publication came out since that and basically validate all of what we're saying, that the involvement of the CIA in Jamaican politics.
Yes. Yeah, we have a call. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Colin,
turn off.
May I listen from you? May I listen from you?
Hold on. Show man. Hold on. Turn off the instrument in your background for me, please. Turn off the instrument. Just listen to me on your phone alone. Because you're giving us a wicked feedback in the studio here. Lots of noise. Go ahead now. Run gone. Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Yes, sir. Evening. Welcome to the show.
All right. You know, as man said, what nationwide today was when we matter about a total disrespect, you know. And may I tell you something? You matter about KD night. You might take a look at Mike Henry, and him still representing politics same way.
I certainly hope these guys are not planning to live to those age that these gentlemen have achieved.
Take a look at Carl Samuda.
No, hold on. Make we not go there, so. Because as a human being.
But these guys are still representing these man leave politics, you know. Remember, says the man daughter, you know. So the man and is our what? The party that represent her. So she's the candidate for her. Right? So you know, say if it's your daughter, no matter what, you could have even had the worst feeling.
Yeah, but did it?
Because you want for sure your support
yeah,
as a
did
father.
it for your child. But the
boy,
I
don't know if persons was watching. Conrad,
you see the man already see the man already, Conrad. Look at it, Conrad. The man take it to the next level, man.
Yeah, man. You're absolutely correct. But let us just remind persons the recent convention of both political parties in the United States. We saw Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson was out. He was pushed in his wheelchair, and he was reverent there. We saw other older folks who came out, right? There's a lady that I know, a former professor, Professor Hope, right? Elderly lady, and she followed everything. She's in her 90s.
Conrad.
She followed every single thing.
Conrad.
And out there.
Conrad, it is a major respect and honor for our political party, the People's National Party, to have a KD night, a Bobby Pickersgill, because let me tell you more. Bobby Pickersgill go to every NEC. Once there's a political meeting out.
All of us try our best to get a touch off of Bobby.
Let me tell you something. George Davis. Let me tell George Davis something. There's a song with Shabba do. Say, respect your elders. Go listen to that song that George Davis.
I want your boyfriend. I want you to bust that tune.
I think they need to come out and make a public apology, man. They need to come and make a public apology, man. They need to come and make a public apology, man. They need to come and make a public apology.
It bad, man.
You know, we are not afraid. We are unafraid. We are unafraid to speak truth to power and to call out people. And I want to say this. And the other day I called when George Davis disrespected PJ Patterson. Remember now, what we're seeing now is a pattern of George Davis. Remember he disrespected PJ Patterson the other day.
Yes.
I said on my I did a response on my program, a News Talk, and I outlined a number of things, and I called on the Press Association of Jamaica, of which George Davis is a former president. And I said, I think that the Press Association should basically reprimand George. I sent the article.
That's a solid point, Conrad. That's a solid point. You remember when Mark Colin went to diaspora and speak about the Press Association, or the Press Association president come out and said Mark Colin shouldn't say that? Why the Press Association don't condemn those speeches from George Davis? So they are biased. Are biased.
All right, my brother. Enough respect and thanks for the call.
All right.
Yeah.
Finish up, Obi.
So Colin, I want to just finish. I sent the article or the clip of a program to my good friend Ron Powell. Ron sent it to the head of news at the RJR Communication Group, Milton Walker. Milton placed a call to me, and we spoke for a lengthy period on the phone. But Milton said to me that it is not the remit of the Press Association to reprimand somebody for that. Mark you, he believed that it was disgusting and quite repugnant of George, but he said that it wasn't the remit of the Press Association. I'm not a member of the Press Association because it's not mandatory that you work in the media, you have to join it.
Right.
I'm not a member. But I tell you, I find it a little bit strange for him to say that, listen, something like that is not the remit of the Press Association.
Well, Obi, let me just say this.
I don't know.
Let me just say this. A country is judged by how they treat their elders and their children.
Absolutely.
And when I listen to George Davis, I am tempted to say that it doesn't sound like he will ever grow old. I hope that he does not grow old and have to use a wheelchair and want to go anywhere. So, George, I want to warn him. It look like he's much younger than I am. And I want to say to him, hold on, Obi, hold on. Hold on for me, caller. I just want to say to him, hold on, man, hold on. I just want to say to George Davis, be careful how you disrespect these legends. Elder people, you must have some respect. Go ahead, caller.
Shaka.
Yes, sir.
The man call a while ago and say, Vegas call Mr. Al Isaac visa. I wonder why they take away James Robertson's visa.
Me no know. You have no visa.
I wonder why then James Robertson have visa, sir?
Me no know. Me no know nothing about James Robertson. You know no visa?
James no visa.
You know no visa?
No visa.
All right.
No. I wonder why they give the man of Portland a special visa.
Yeah, one visa with something stamping on it. We don't have something in it.
I wonder why. Let me take him out of the
because he was actually cited. He was actually cited, and they
dig him out of the year before they dig out other people, yeah, man.
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
Let them dig out of
but hold on, Conrad. Yeah. Did you hear about a DJ, a Jamaican DJ, that was swinging on a chandelier for a man?
Up at the man the house.
Up at the man the house. You did hear about one DJ?
Yeah,
when it up there swing on chandelier?
But they find something in something. Someone they find him on something in something.
Come off of my phone. Go on your ways. Go on your ways.
You know, Shaka?
Eh?
Shaka.
Yeah.
Each time I hear, and I'm going to refer to him this way. I'm going to say my friend George Davis, because George and I had a reasonable, a good vibe. We normally had a good vibe. As a matter of fact, when I appeared on Nationwide in my capacity as an analyst, it was George who basically invited me, asked the producer to invite me and so on. So we normally reason.
Yeah.
George used to respond to all my messages and so. Suffice it to say that these days him not really communicate with me anymore.
Foot clot and towel, brother.
Because
when foot clot,
put it this way.
When foot rag becomes on towel.
No, well, to be fair to him, when we had chatted, because it's not so long, he was in the same position that he is in now. So it's not that he has been elevated.
Or maybe him get desperate.
Hold on. However, I think maybe because of my utterance, then the entire outfit that he worked with basically take umbrage. Because remember, that the last time that they invited me on their program to analyze the poll, to look at the poll, I was basically announced in the newscast, the 5 o'clock newscast, that I would be on with Robert Morgan at the time, Nestor Morgan, and after that, while I was waiting on the call, I didn't get the call. And their response to me, when the producer get back to me, you know what she said to me? She said to me that a number of their callers call and say me a PNP activist. so they refuse from taking.
So when them bring on the GLP activists, them is not a problem. Go ahead, caller. Welcome to Caribbean Radio HD. Good evening.
Oh God. Yeah, man, welcome. Go on. You will no journalist, man. Eh?
Well, listen to you. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, they were making us try to crucify George.
So why George I try crucify?
Just because he's not talking a PNP behalf.
Hold on, man. Hold on, George. Conrad, hold on. Conrad, hold on. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, sir. Just because George not talking on behalf of PNP, that's why I'm not crucifying.
Let me ask you a question. You have anybody who in your family?
Yeah.
Would you like somebody to be talking
after George never diss none of them?
Okay.
George never diss none of elders. You know, I go on like man that diss none of the elders.
What him say about them?
Me hear the man say him no feel good to know so the man them deteriorate so fast like that the man I talk about,
So is
the
that
man never diss none of elders.
So is that a fair statement to be making about people that say them deteriorate? Or hold this kid night?
If me as a man, me frightened because I had a day me see KD night on platform when me see him with the walker. I say what is?
So you
feel good about
hold on. So you try find out what happened to him?
I sick the man sick man. No breakings or nothing, man.
Hold on, Conrad, hold on. Let me ask you something. You call anybody and ask them what happened to KD night?
Me call anybody. Right. I don't call anybody and ask them.
Hold on. You have a number for KD night?
Me don't have no number for him.
So how you know say sick no broke nothing?
In body itself, in physical body look sick,
Oh, so
because me
hold on, man. Hold on. So if Conrad tell you say KD break a leg, you tell Conrad say nothing no go so.
I never say that. That for me, no. Me never say anything. But look,
that Conrad never
tell you one thing bad about them. Me I tell you that.
No say nothing bad.
Davis never say one thing wrong. Of course, none of them as an elder. I don't speak truth, man. I don't stop it. As a PNP,
all right, hold on
now. Lies, man.
Hold on. Conrad, go ahead.
Conrad, him can't go
hold on, brother. Fathead. Hold on, Conrad, hold on. Fathead. You realize me allow you to talk and nobody not disturb you? So you are now going to listen. Go ahead, Conrad.
Yes. This morning at about 6 o'clock or a little after 6 o'clock, thereabout, I was sent a picture along with a notation on it. I'm trying to find the exact thing because I don't want to misrepresent at all. I really don't want to misrepresent. However, suffice it to say that the thing was sent to me, and it was basically dealing with KD and Bobby in the most disparaging way. It was sent to me by Senator Marlon Morgan, right? And what happened? It is what the JLP has been using to do the rounds, and it is out of order. It is distasteful and it is disrespectful. And had it been the who was doing it, it would be equally as repugnant as it is. Address Fathead as it relates to KD. Let me say this. KD Knight is my King's Counsel. He is my King's Counsel. He is an automatic. Well, he's on speed dial for me. All right? I'm a friend. I'm a brethren. When I called KD, I didn't hear from KD for about a week plus or so. And when I called KD, I think it was Saturday, I said, KD, I don't hear from you. And him said, Conrad, you never hear that I was in the hospital. I break my leg. And we actually described the area of his leg that was broken. It's above the knee. And I even said to him, so, whoa, KD, that's not a good spot at all. KD was quite agile, up and about, up until a few weeks ago. And if you notice, he is still very, very sharp in his mind, extremely sharp in his mind.
All right, Conrad.
Hold on, Colin. And it is natural. It is natural that as we go older, especially when you reach age like in your 80s, because I think KD is 82 years old, will be 83 this year. When you reach that age, it is natural that your body gets a little frailer than you would have normally been.
But Judge Davis did not say anything wrong about them. So I don't know why I not take on the man.
Fathead. When George Davis, when George Davis said PJ must put on in pajama and go in bed and mind and kick over in chamber pot, was that disrespectful?
No, sir.
All right, my brother.
Because
all
the
right.
man frail. That is why.
All right. Have a good evening, Fathead. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
804-7072. 305-654-7944. Caribbean Radio HD, we're live. Hello, good evening. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Yeah, man, go ahead.
Why you have to listen to that man and I explain to you, man? Let the man go on, man.
Yeah, man, we talk to everybody, man.
We know you talk to everybody, that's from that people like it when they're too full boy. You must make people talk sense, yeah, man.
All right, my brother. Enough respect and thanks for the call. 876-804-7072. Good evening.
Colin.
Yes, sir.
I show up on this.
Yeah, man. Go ahead.
You know, say KD night, I want to go back and belly rock. Mark Gordon should.
All right. We're not going to allow you to come this the people.
Colin.
Go ahead.
I send something to you there, Colin.
Which one of the phone is, Senator?
On your regular phone. Well, is this one that I'm on?
All right. All right. No. Let me tell you something.
All right. Let me read it, Colin.
Go ahead. Hold on there. Hold on, Sam. Go ahead, Conrad.
I'll read it. There is a video there, and this was what was sent to me by Marlon Morgan. And the video, below the video, it said, they spell it this way: pain. PNP is PNP talk, but it's a PNP.
Yeah, looking at it.
PNP to carry out these two stick men on the campaign trail. that means they are in serious and total wipeout. That was what he said. He said this morning, right? So what they're doing is playing on this to say that, listen, KD and PJ and KD and Bobby are sick and they should not be out there. Earlier, somebody called me and call me and tell me that Marlon on radio today, because Marlon is my co-host or my colleague host there, and they said that Marlon said on the program today that they shouldn't bring them out because I don't want them catch up no coal in their mole and all them sort of things.
Hold on the Obi, hold a sec for me. Let me just take time out to thank the people on Caribbean Radio HD for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure having you. We were on yesterday evening and we are on again this evening. Caribbean Radio HD, Bro Gary Radio. Enough respect to all the people. Sister Tanya, Sister Maxine, DJ Shane, DJ GX, Brother Servant David, Sister Melrose. Enough respect. Caribbean Radio, I know you're going off now. You might join us back for about another minute or two, but if not, God bless you. Obi, continue.
Yeah, man. So that's the trajectory that they're on, Colin. So, but as Lambert said yesterday, and he said it in the Senate, that the people of Jamaica have already made up their mind, and they have turned the corner, turned their back on this administration. And since the JLP and its surrogates are so comfortable and so confident that they would have a victory. The fact of the matter is that Andrew Holness is under a lot of scrutiny. Right now, he's being investigated for illicit enrichment by the IC and so on. A lot of things out there. Corruption is at the highest level.
Hold on, Colin.
The highest level in Jamaica. So, since they're so confident, go to the Jamaican people. This is what government do across the globe, Whenever you come under attack and you're at this level, you basically go to the people, whether it is close to the end of the term, mid-term or whatever, you say, okay, let's go and seek a mandate. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you something. The man that Andrew Holness admire the most, Eddie Seaga. I don't know if Eddie had beaten him like how he beat Desmond, but the man that he admire, right? Eddie Seaga, it is said when Michael Manley and Eddie and the PNP and the JLP, they had a pact in 1983 that they would not go to the poll and the old voters list because it would this. Oh gosh, can the person mute their phone there?
Go ahead, Obi. Go ahead.
Yes. When in 1983, when they had that fact that they would not call the election and the old voters list because it would have disenfranchised a lot of young people who would come in to vote for the first time. And it was said that Paul Robertson said something and dear Eddie decided that, all right, since you said that, I'm going to the poll. And he went to the poll. However, on principle, Michael did not contest because Michael said, no, we had a pact and we would not go to the poll and disenfranchise the young people. But I'm saying that to say that even Eddie, because he was challenged, as I said, by Paul Robertson, he went to the poll. So here is it. Andrew Holness is being challenged right now.
Can't go to the poll, Conrad. Let me take the call. You can't go to the poll. You can't go to the poll. 804-7072. Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, caller, go ahead.
So, Colin, with all of this being said, right? Yeah. When you guys talk about Vegas and Marlon, Morgan and this, you don't see one common trait into all of this. The GLP come out and say the economy is good. What is it they're campaigning on? If you listen to all of their conferences and all of their crowd, all they are talking about is description of the PNP. They up to now, they are not putting anything forward to campaign on what they said their prosperity program is now.
They don't have it.
Realize this?
They don't have it.
You don't realize? And when you look at it, and also when you look at it,
turn off the instrument in the background for me. The instrument that you're listening on, turn that off for me, please.
Okay. Yeah. The way they are so confident. If you are so confident, why is it the Prime Minister go someplace, turn on pipe water, no water is there, and they are not calling the election? If you are so confident, you don't need to attack your opponents. You're supposed to feel confident and talk about your progress. And up to now, if you listen to people like you, Jeffrey Tavares, Wayne Lonesome, Andre Stevens, you guys' message is more like a teaching product. That's the reason why more people, when you look at more people gravitating towards you guys listening to the program, when they go to the JP bloggers, you hear them, of course, well, people never doing that 20 years, they never doing that 18 years.
The facts is not on their side, the truth is not on their side, so them can't do
exactly.
No better.
You supposed to can campaign on your prosperity for 9 years. You're just attacking the person as there's a word for it. It don't make sense to shoot the messenger.
All right, my brother. No
it's
respect.
The message.
Yes. Yeah, man. You're watching Portland Spice TV. Hold on, Conrad. I just want to ask the people online. Hold on for me, Sam. We have about 700 devices watching this program right now. It doesn't cost anything to touch the thumbs up. Touch the thumbs up for me and give the video a like. Thank you very much. Sam, go ahead.
Mr. Bell,
yes,
I watch your program 3 times a week.
Thank you.
I never hear a Labourite supporter call you and talk anything positive or anything with sense yet.
Them not have it. Sam.
I never. And I wonder why you have so much patience and so much thing with them. Can you tell them? I'm not saying you're a liar.
No, but I am happy that they are watching. I am happy that they are watching so we can teach them. Because you're here now. You hear it.
Mr. Bell, are you telling them what they say a liar?
Some of them know the truth.
Why entertain them, my brother?
Some of them know the truth, trust me.
Me as a listener, as a viewer, hurt. You know, there was a research released by Cambridge University in 2000.
Hold on, Obi. Go ahead, Sam.
There's a research released around 2015 by university. And they were saying 93% of who born, 87% of who born in the 80s will not live to see past 60.
Oh? Never hear about that research.
I was looking for something to send to George.
Yeah, because somebody needs to tell him that he needs to respect the elders.
To send it to him. So him to be careful.
Yeah, man. Be careful how you deal with the elders.
Them to be careful.
Yeah,
have a great day, my brother.
Blessings, Sam. Big up. Yeah, Obi, we'll wrap up.
Yeah, man. I'm saying that the thing gets so bizarre. No, I was saying to the caller there, don't worry about that. Once, because I entertain everybody on my radio program.
Yeah,
all I ask for is decency
and respect.
So long as if you come, because nothing is wrong. Because even a while ago, we allow Fatet to talk. Certainly not we, but you are the host. You allow Fatet to talk until he was going down a particular route. The caller that called afterward was same name, Showerman. He started out with disrespect. You can't allow him to stay at all.
And Emma call straight, Him not stop call. We're not take a call this evening, Showerman.
You can't allow him to stay. But Colin, I want to just somebody is on?
No, man, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. I just want to say that the thing get more bizarre. Over the weekend, a function took place in Mandeville, Manchester, and Greenville Road. That's close to where I'm from in Manchester.
Hold on, caller. Yeah, Conrad,
I'm from a little community in Greenville called Confidence Avenue in Northwest Manchester. And the Greenville main road there where Mr. Kenneth Black, popular called Stonline, have building out a lovely complex there houses and building and whatever. I think Proven also doing a development right behind there.
Yeah.
Now, the Chamber of Commerce, the Manchester Chamber of Commerce, as I understand it, had a function there, and they invited Mr. Holness as the guest speaker. The Chamber of Commerce, you know what Labour Rights start to push over the place now?
What?
Says Ken had meeting and did not invite Mark Golding.
They're desperate, Conrad.
That is the level of desperation.
Desperate.
That is the level of desperation. The meeting wasn't Mr. Black's meeting. It's the Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Let me take this call, yeah. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir. How are you doing, Mr. Bell?
Go on, my brother.
I'm here, man. Conrad O'Brien, big up to you all the time. Man of facts. That listen to your program as usual. I enjoy it a lot. And what I enjoy most is when the so-called JLP, die-hearted JLP call. Okay, not really JLP, they're just die-hearted. And they always major in the minor. There is just so much stuff that can be elaborated on or comment that is made that they can talk on, but they always go to defend each other whenever their stupidity come to the forefront. Because I haven't seen no grounds and arguing about what George said, if it was good or bad. It is bad. Because remember that your time is coming.
Oh, yes.
Right? And if you don't have anything good to say, then you don't say anything. And you call a talk show to waste people's time to debate about George did not say anything bad. There's so much thing that could have been spoken about. Or there's so much thing that he could talk about. It's just so silly. But what I like with you is that the more the JLP speak, is the more people see how naive they are to the facts and the reality of life.
Man. And that's why we make them talk.
Before I end. Look at the water system there, and someone came forward to say, we love Jamaican people, and we don't have a good health system. So here what? We don't want them to consume the polluted water. Let's fix it so that they get good water, because they don't have a hospital to go. And absolutely nothing is said.
And
the JLP do not have anything to say about that. Like, JLP is not a part of Jamaica. I can tell everybody this. JLP do not use the road in Jamaica. They do not go to the hospital. Their kids do not go to school in Jamaica.
Big talk.
The financial depression that we are in, it do not affect them.
No.
Nothing. They do not get ticket on the road in Jamaica.
No.
Their family don't get shoot by police.
No.
Their family don't get locked up.
No.
They don't go to the court. They don't part nothing in Jamaica.
They don't drop in the pothole them either.
Taxes. They don't do nothing in Jamaica. Because there is no way you can be in a system that is so depressing, and you are attacking people who are trying to fight for you to get you out of that situation. That is no way.
No way at all, my brother. Enough respect. Thanks for the call.
Okay, man. Thanks much. Enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
All right, man.
And keep the good work up. All right. Cool.
Bless
876-804-7072. Obi, why finally have a wrap up. Talk to me.
Yeah, man. Colin, the space is active. It is indeed election 2025.
Yes.
And we're going to hear more of the rhetoric, the half-truth, the denial, and the continued attack.
Hold on, caller.
And person, because what happened, Colin, you also have to bear in mind that what we saw in Barbican Square,
oh yes,
that some of my callers are now describing, say, boy, it no name Barbican Square again, it name Red Square now.
Yes.
That little dynamo, Stacey Knight, basically throw down the gauntlet.
Anything can happen.
Right now, she sends shockwaves over there at the JLP headquarters at Belmont Road.
Hold on, Conrad, I have a call. Go ahead, caller.
Chaka.
Yes.
No, give fatted my number, tell him to call me.
Me not have fatted number. Me not store numbers. I don't store the numbers.
Oh,
no.
Okay, all right, cool. You can have your number.
All right.
Yeah, man. So with all of that, Colin, because believe me, and you know what is exciting about the whole thing, Colin?
Talk to me.
Stacey Stacey Knight has been doing the heavy lifting.
Well,
she has been doing the enumeration. She has been doing the house,
That's
and
key.
so on. So the crowd that you saw there, crowd that you saw there was an indigenous crowd. And guess what? She's believable. She is credible. She is decent. And she grew up in the area there. She lives in the community. She's a known quantity.
Yes.
So the Jamaica Labour Party right now is in our tears because for the first time in a long time, Northeast St. Andrew is indeed in play for the People's National Party. It is indeed in play.
Well, that's a big talk.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things. So all the rhetoric is going to come. So it's just one of them things, Colin. So don't worry about it.
All right, my brother. We talk again. Enough respect.
Blessings.
Thanks much. Yeah, man. Thanks to Ralston Iman, Conrad O'Brien, all the people who call. Shower man, you could have called till die kingdom come. But now take your call this evening. You have to have respect. We don't disrespect people on this program here. You have been listening to us long enough to know that we deal with people with respect. So you can stay there, go and call. We're not going to talk to you this evening. Hey, listeners and viewers, like up the video for me, please. Almost 700 people upon the thing. Like up the video. Thank you very much. It don't cost you to like it up. And if you have not yet subscribed to Portland Spice TV, please subscribe to Portland Spice TV. Click the notification button that whenever we are on, you get a notification so you can join us. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you all. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace now and forevermore. And if you want to contribute to Portland Spice TV, just go up on the profile, look at the description, and you see how you can contribute to Portland Spice TV. Thank you very much for watching. Share the channel with some people. You are all saying that based on the content, we should have whole heap more listeners and viewers. We're asking you to be an ambassador for Portland Spice TV. Share Portland Spice TV with your family and friends, everybody in your contact. Tell them to subscribe, share, and like. Blessings. Until we meet Saturday morning for another big show. Colin Shaka Bell saying, peace be with you and your family. One love.